My name is Gift, and I'm one of the children who lived at the STEKA Children's Home in Malawi, and I'm currently studying in Scotland at Queen Margaret University. And I'm also involved with the STEKA Skills charity, and was one of the people who were involved in the developing the STEKA Skills critical dialogue. I think that the experience that we had when the school visits came at STEKA was mostly negative, because a lot of times what was happening is that they would come in, and most of the times they would come in sometimes with things that they felt we needed, and without even consulting if we needed those things. And for example, maybe they would come in with donations and like snacks or clothes, and then just coming in to hand it over to us without even asking whether that was what we needed at that particular time. But also even sometimes doing jobs that even Malawians could, that we could do, but also not even doing them right. So for example, one time they painted our rooms, and particularly they painted the girls' room, and they did not even ask what color they wanted the room to be painted. So they painted the room in a color that the girls didn't like, and we had to repaint it again. And also there were no engagement with them, so because they were only focusing on interacting with the kids, and mostly as well the interaction was to just pick them up and take a selfie and maybe put it on Facebook, but there were not really any real engagement with like us their own age. Because we were not really interacting with them, we couldn't learn anything from them, and they also couldn't learn anything from us about, for example, what we really needed or what we wanted or how we felt about them coming and doing all these things. So the critical dialogue involved us and the visiting young Scots to be in these groups, so what we call brave spaces, whereby we were able to talk to each other, interact with one another in order to learn from one another, but also be critical of certain things that maybe before we were not able to, but also in a way that we feel that like they're not gonna judge us, or they also feel that like we're not gonna judge them, or even to just laugh at them, because it can be awkward. So I think that a lot of things have changed since the coming of the dialogues. I think that it has really had really huge impact, not only on the STEKA community as well as the visiting Scots. So for the STEKA community within our home, for example, now we were able to question them or to tell them that we don't like people taking photos of us or the children without seeking any permission. But also we were able even to interact with them, that like tell them, for example, and make them understand the things that we need and what we would like them to do or not to do. So it gave us like that platform where they were able to listen to us, but also we were able to listen to them. But also it was an opportunity for us as young STEKA people to be able to learn from the Scots. Because through that interaction we were able to learn what their lives are like here in Scotland, but also they were able to learn what our lives are like in Malawi. But also critical dialogue has had a really significant impact even within the STEKA home, because we are able to have even our own internal dialogues whereby every voice counts within the home. For example, we are able to listen to the kids, which was not happening before, because in Malawi there's sort of like there's a hierarchy that, oh, if you're parents then then you're young, your views don't really count. But then because of the coming of the dialogue, it has even made God knows realize how even valuable our inputs can be within the welfare of the STEKA home. One of the other benefits that like dialogue has had is that like it has really created a job for the young people at STEKA. So when the visiting Scots come in and to take part in this critical dialogue, they have to pay. So that money is used to pay the young people who are facilitating these dialogues, but also to help build the Vocational Skills Center. So because of this critical dialogue, the young people are able to have the sort of like that sense of earning or a job and make money from that and be able to be independent. Because one of the other key thing in the dialogue is about like trying to break down donor dependency. So if we are able to earn our own money through this these dialogues, that way then we can be able to sort of like facilitate our own needs. I think that the dialogues has had like such a really significant impact on STEKA, to the point that like the director of STEKA, God knows, he feels that like this is something that could be adapted and rolled out to other childcare institutions in Malawi. And coming from a child's rights campaigner, I feel like this is really important.